This presentation is all about decimals. To start off, let's define a decimal. A decimal is part of a whole, such as 0.5 is part of 1, or 2.375 is part of 3. This makes sense that decimals are a part of a whole. But how do decimals work? Why is 0.685 smaller than 0.7 when clearly 0.685 has more numbers? And why do decimals matter in the real world anyways? First, let's analyze the role of decimals further. Decimals divide up one big number. For example, 1 can be divided into two parts, 0.25 and 0.75, which are both decimals. When reading decimals, you read them the same way you would read a sentence or a book, from left to right. For example, with this decimal, you would read it 0.685. When arranging decimals, you look at them the same way. You compare each digit from left to right. First, look at the number on the far left, compare, and then move on. In this example, 0.721 is larger than 0.654 because 7 is larger than 6. If the numbers are the same, you just move on to the next digit to the right and compare those. If one decimal has more digits, you can still compare it to another decimal by just adding an invisible 0 to the decimal with fewer digits. In this example, 0.7643 is bigger than 0.7642. Remember, when comparing digits in decimals, it's the same as comparing digits normally. 6 is still larger than 4, and 2 is still bigger than 1, and so on and so forth. Compare these numbers in your head. Did you get them right? Check your answers. Do you think you understand the general concepts of decimals? Good, because you're going to need them everywhere you go in life, whether you're paying for something with money, getting gas for your car, or looking for a book in the library. Even lots of jobs are requiring you to have a general knowledge of decimals on your job application. Let's look at some of the different jobs that use decimals every day. If you're a cashier, whether it be at a restaurant, a grocery store, a clothing store, a music store, anywhere, you'll need to know how to add up money totals, which is always written using decimals. Don't forget tax. Almost everything you buy, with the exception of some foods, has tax, which requires not only addition or subtraction of decimals, but multiplication as well. Another job that constantly uses decimals is a librarian. As a librarian, you have to be extremely comfortable with decimals and arranging them. Their job is constant rearranging of misplaced books, which are organized by the decimal number on their spine. Forget being a librarian. What if you are just on your own looking for a book in the library? You need to have a basic understanding of how to arrange decimals and where to look. Next, let's look at being a nurse or a doctor. You need to use decimals when checking a patient's temperature or measuring their weight. Not being able to read and understand decimals well could be a matter of life and death in some cases. Another job that uses decimals is a businessman or a businesswoman. They have to weigh products, do business accounting, and keep track of money, all of which involve the use of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals. Chefs and food preps also have to use decimals. They have to check temperatures to make sure food is being served appropriately, and they often have to understand decimals when reading recipes. No matter where you go and no matter what you do, you will need decimals, unless you choose to move to Alaska and live simply in an igloo, but even then you might want to check what the temperature is every once in a while, and you're going to need decimals. All of the jobs previously mentioned, cashier, librarian, doctor, businessman, and chef, and even more, require decimals. You can run, but you can't hide from decimals. So be sure to learn the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of decimals, and how to arrange them, because you never know when you'll need it.